So yeah, getting interesting, huh? You read all of those definitions. Marriageable maiden, nothing to do with sex. A woman who has never had sexual intercourse with a woman. So this definition that has got to do something with sex. Another one, third one, one's marriageable daughter. Still got nothing to do with sex. Already gave us two definitions that have nothing to do with sex. Just talking about a maiden, a lady, a young lady, and a daughter. But the second one was to do with sex. So bear in mind, it's still the word virgin, but it's already given us two definitions. So I was about to read this one. A man who has abstained from all uncleanness and whoredom, attendant on idolatry, and so has kept his chastity. That's another one. Got nothing to do with sex. So when you're following righteousness, separating from wickedness, trying your best to stop doing sin, that's a form of a virgin. Clean, fresh, separate, holy. You see? Virgin doesn't always mean the act of sex or not having to have sex. See? Virgin, chaste, or young can mean, yeah, one who has never had intercourse with a woman. See? So it's already given us two types of definitions. One referring to intercourse, one abstaining from wickedness, or simply a daughter, maiden, young lady. But it's given us a quote. I'm going to read the quote again. Matthew 1, verse 23. Prophecy is very important. Sorry, internet is a bit slow, laggy. So where's the definition of virgins? Gave you there. So let's go back to it. Verse 23, Matthew chapter 1:23. Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son. We went into the word virgin. He gave us two types of definitions. And they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us, the Most High with us. So let's find this actual quote. Okay? And it's in the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah, chapter 7. And we're going to see that in the Old Testament, in the language of the Hebrew, virgin has its own definition, a precise definition of why it's used, and it's the correct one. And it's the same applied for the book of Matthew. That's why it brings up that quote. So the same quote is in Isaiah chapter 7, and we're going to start from verse 14. Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive. So is this saying that a woman that is not had sex or not going to have sex is going to be able to have a child? And bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. So we need to look here and see the definition of a virgin here. So in Hebrews, I believe it's Ilama. Salaka if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But let's get the pronunciation.
Strong's H 5959. Alma. Alma.
And they give us virgin, young woman. First, that's the top of the list. Anything to do with sex? Nope. But this was the same quote used in the book of Matthew. Are you starting to understand? Of a marriageable age, still nothing to do with sex. Maid or newly married. You see? Yeah. So there you go. Ilama, the language of the Hebrew. But that was the same quote used in the book of Matthew, prophecy. So it's saying a young woman or maiden is going to have a child. It's not talking about her virginity or her not being able to have sexual intercourse, because they did have sex. I'm going to prove it even more. So what scripture now? So showed you the definitions of virgin, maiden, unmarried daughter, young lady. Ilama. Nothing to do with sexual intercourse. Now we're going to go into the generations of Yahushai, or the seed line of Yahushai, and show the importance of the prophecies of why he has to be a descendant of David, or he has to be born from seed, which is sperm, to fulfill prophecy. And a lot of people, especially the Christian churches, like to say, hey, he was not born from any man, he was not born from flesh, he was not born from the seed of man. But how come he was born, according to your context or your doctrine, how come he was able to be born from a woman then? She's flesh. You see, that's the uplifting of women. And the scripture tells you that women are the weaker vessel and they're more wicked than men. So if he didn't want to take or partake sins, the woman will be a less of an option according to your context. But anyways, let's go into the seed line of Yahushai and why it's important that he has to be a descendant of the forefathers, and it's important that he was born from the act of sex and sperm was involved. Yeah, sperm from a man. So let's go to Numbers 1 and 8 of how our traditions are, and it still is today. The book of Numbers, and 1 and 18. So the Israelites, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families, by the house of their mothers? No, by the house of their fathers, the dads, the rulers of the nations, the rulers of the house are the fathers, according to the number of their names, from 20 years old and upwards by the polls. That's why even into this day and age, usually people have their father's last name, showing ownership and you know, the legacy of a clan through the father's line, not from the mother's line. So that's how us Israelites roll, by the father. Let's see if we can go into some words here. Pedigrees, I believe, to bear, bring forth. The men bring forth the children, begat, gender, travail, to bear, bring forth, of child, yeah, to be born, to begat. See? And it said pedigrees of who? Of their mothers or fathers? Their fathers. Why? Because the men have the seed, the sperm. We're going to go into that even more. Let's find another one. So look what Yahushai said. This is Yahushai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Look what he said.